couple weeks. Was it you, David?
I am,
Okay.
it's the next meeting.
Okay. So you're pretty pleased with where you're at? With your committee assignments?
We shall see.
Before you leave.
We're not writing these things in stone.
No, but I think in the next couple meetings, we should firm it up.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
And that gives our other
There
two
is a
a chance to
responsibility
weigh in and be able
involved.
to look at that. Okay. Anybody, any last thoughts about right now where you might want to add your initials? Did I say? Okay, so. I know. So we've talked about that, we're gonna send it out and let people respond to that, so we're not taking any formal action on that. I'm sorry. Is that accurate?
Well, so basically be part of your next agenda, and yeah, we'll compile the list and make sure everybody gets it. Now, were you gonna do something about the boards and commissions?
I see
Just
some,
attach them to,
Yeah.
there's a number of them that are attached to the mayor's office.
Oh, they are?
Well, they're the mayor advisory board, so they don't have a department. And so Energy Advisory Commission, I think it's in the mayor's office.
So,
Reminds me of me here, and it's just
so that was what we had talked about, if there were commissions that were affiliated with the departments, they would go
They're
along
gonna
with
go
the
along with the
committees that
department.
you sign up for.
Correct. And there's a few that just aren't.
Aren't?
Yeah.
Okay, but who aren't? Sorry.
I see one here is the Kailua Village Design Commission. I would certainly think
I
that
think
should
it's
be,
planning, so
that would be under planning.
yeah, so what if we, okay, just, I won't attest to this, how's that? But the ones that I don't know who they're attached to is game management. Energy advisory. People with disabilities, is it HR? Is it there? I think here too, yeah, Committee on People with Disabilities.
Does that go with aging?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so-
And Ag Advisory. Is that, oh, it might be RD.
So those four?
Committee on the Status of Women. And the Salary Commission. Oh, yeah, salary, HR staff salary, that's true.
Ooh, that just got even bigger. Okay.
Can I just suggest though that maybe for those, like you have your letter that's going out, because they're bound by sunshine too, right? So they'll have to, if you're gonna talk to them, you can talk to the chair, but then, you know, you can't if you're gonna collectively talk to the commission, you go to one of their meetings.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, just so.
Okay.
So you might wait to assign those and send the letter out and see if you get any.
See what comes back.
Good suggestion,
Very
thanks,
good.
Kathy.
Okay. So it said we anticipated devising uniform questions to be posed to each department. I think we still anticipate that, do we not? We thought that it might help give some kind of consistency if we were asking some similar questions across, so, okay. So then draft letters. Item number 5.
Susan, they were in your packet. They were in the packet that Jen sent out. Oh, email.
Email.
So
I have a couple
email.
of hard copies if you need them.
And they are certainly open to any and all changes, interpretations. Was they were based on my understanding of our last meeting, and I may not have necessarily gotten the grasp that everybody, or the same understanding that others did. So before they went out, I wanted everybody to have a chance to at least look at them and make sure that that was correct. When I wrote them, I was very enthusiastic, and I think the drafts all say responses back by March 20th, which. So.
Quite ambitious.
Yeah. Other than that, I thought they were very well done. I thought you used the wordage from the previous letters well. You put the legalese up front. I thought you were also polite and respectful in how you handled it. I thought you were clear and concise. You didn't take up too much space. But in letters that went out to the, say, managing director department, human resources, which there are a lot of recommendations, you needed to go to the second page. But I think you handled them well.
Thank you. So I don't have my calendar with me. If we were moving out to the second meeting in April, taking into consideration Glenn's belief that we may or may not get a lot of information, is that a reasonable period of time? I don't know how much time you folks need to be able to distribute them, so I don't want to.
Well, the distribution, it's not difficult, just the payroll one might be, it's just depending on finance.
Okay.
The second meeting in April is April 17th?
17th.
And the one before this April 3rd.
Right.
So does April 17th feel like a reasonable period of time? And the responses come back to Jen. But if it doesn't come back to you till the 17th, and that's our meeting date.
I can pick it up
You-
till just before we
Before
come
we
to
can do the meeting, so.
Good thought, so it should actually be, it
60.
it should, no, it shouldn't.
Maybe the week before.
The week before.
Because it'd be nice
Okay.
if, sorry Jen, if you could scan them and send to us ahead of time.
Whoa.
Do we have that ability to receive the actual letters? Okay.
Check one, two,
So-
check one, two.
The week before, so
So
if we're meeting
maybe
on the
the 10th.
17th, like the 10th?
Yeah, April 10th would be good.
Can we make it the 7th, which is the Monday?
The Monday?
Sure.
So
I
she
just
can
I'm not sure
agendize
it's
them, then she can agendize them as communications.
Got it.
Perfect.
Okay, so
April 7th,
Okay,
responses due
due by April 7th.
7th, okay. And so those were Word documents that you can just change the date?
Yeah.
Great.
And once they're finalized, I'll PDF it so that it can't change.
Okay. So then on the 17th, we will be optimistic that we will have a great deal to discuss or see. Wonderful. Okay. Were there other questions or comments before we move on with the letters? They were okay with
They looked
it? Okay, thank you. 6, discussion/action regarding approach to take to timely accomplish mandate of the Cost of Government Commission. So I'm not sure what makes that different than
What we discussed.
what we
earlier.
discussed earlier.
We wanted them to be reports, so that would help us inform us.
You know, just for your reading pleasure, I did print out, let me pass out to you, this is one of the annual reports that came out of the mayor's office. Talked about last year's accomplishments. There is another larger annual report that has each department's goals and objectives and our performance measures. I had looked for it on the website and it wasn't there, so I sent out a query about, and I believe that they're trying to put it on the website. So when that comes up, I'll send you a link. If not, if I can somehow, I don't know if you want me to print it out, but I'll try to get them to put it on, make sure that it's on the website, and then I'll send you the link so you can access it. But it's just homework that you can, it has a description of this, it's basically a more comprehensive version of this, a description of departments, so you can read about the departments, the different divisions there are in the departments. So you can familiarize yourself before you go trucking on to chat with them.
Yeah. Well, I think there are lots of other resources and things that are on the website that do also help understand what they're doing or what the priorities are, where their reports and things are. So I would encourage everybody to, in your spare time, look at all of those. Yeah. I also I started to look at, and I don't know if anybody else did, they may or may not be of interest to you, but the previous commission's minutes are posted on the website as well, in terms of any of their processes or procedures. Glenn, are you willing to share just a little bit about how that commission worked through its process?
I want to
Well, you were on the last commission, and if I understand correctly, they really broke up and did kind of individual things that were consolidated somehow or analyzed into the final report. So how did you go about taking all of the masses of information and bringing them back to the group process-wise to hear what the results were and begin to formulate your recommendations?
The recommendations basically from each group that was organized, we just got the data from the individuals and made our recommendations. So what are these some responses that we got, and the commission itself took upon themselves to interpret or discuss, what was received, or if any more information was needed, then we would go back to the individual. But I don't think we had to go back to the individuals at that point, because I think we had the responses that we needed, or at least we were asking for.
Mm-hmm.
And that suffices for accomplishments.
So was there a discussion about the actual recommendations, or did the group operate that whatever the?
The group operated and worked together on coming up with the recommendations. That we done.
Okay.
And they might have originated from the
From-
department, the department itself, and then
That's true,
just,
that's correct.
just whether or not it was something that
They were,
the board
that the
agreed
commission
with,
agreed.
and then
Yeah.
they reworded, what it was, and I'll give you a good example. I think that the Department of Environmental Management came forward, and they wanted the Department of Water Supply to turn off, to be able to have the ability to turn off water for wastewater delinquencies. So it was DEM who came forward and said, this would make our life a lot easier if we could get Department of Water Supply to turn off the water for these delinquencies.
And we've
So
finally done it.
It came from one department.
From a department and went to another, and it actually was
And they basically
Not
presented
quite,
the board.
but soon.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
commission said, yeah, we thought that was a great idea. I believe it was one of the recommendations in here. And it's in the process right now of getting done. So,
Okay. So does anyone else have any kind of questions? I mean, was I the only one who reacted to that particular item not being that much different than what we had discussed earlier in terms of process?
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Anyone else? Okay, so then we'll just continue along on that path.
Yes.
Yes. Hey. Number 7, items on the next, items to be placed on the next agenda. And that meeting would be the 20th.
March 20th.
I did share with Kathy before we convened the meeting that I'm gonna be off island on the 20th. I have another commitment that I can't reschedule. And I think you were gonna be gone at that same time. Kathy did offer us to have a discussion about every 2 weeks in this initial phase, if I'm understanding correctly. May not be enough time for us to do some of the research and reading and digesting and things, so that it could be possible for us to not meet on the 20th. Or actually, as vice chair, actually has the ability to chair the meeting in my absence if we have sufficient agenda items, quorum and sufficient agenda items to want to convene the meeting.
Can only miss 2 people.
Right.
So we would be in the same situation that we are today.
Yeah.
So what we can do is well, it's up to you. Well, we can leave it on for the 20th if the group here wants to. And if either one of them can't come, we'll just cancel it. Because we don't know about Doug and.
Right, because Dalen, Susan, you'll be gone, right?
Right, I need to be gone.
And you need 5 for the meeting, so we can leave it on and then cancel it, notify you and then cancel it. And we do have the video conferencing set up, so to make it easier.
I'm very, very thankful. That's just really wonderful. So I'm actually excited to go and give that a try, and I'm sure it'll be a good time.
And the other thing you can do is say you were interested in a green team or some presentation, if that would be a date to do something like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it'd be nice to have someone from the green team here, or were we saying Will Wilson? You wanted him to
Is that
present?
energy advisor specialist? Yeah, especially since we have it hooked up and he's in Kona.
Right.
That would work out nice.
And finance, war finance. Right?
Right, if you're gonna have Will,
Talks and
I would
depreciation.
suggest inviting Julie Myrie too. She's the energy person with the Department of Water Supply.
And what is it that
She-
we're gonna ask them to present?
Well, her, you can get an idea about what kinds of things are happening right now.
Current status,
Yeah,
state of the state.
has been making their own electricity and cutting cocoa. Will's got a wider perspective, but I think they both probably haven't actually heard Will. They have a little bit different perspectives. She's willing to come, I haven't talked to her.
So we can also ask them, if they have any ideas. Efficiencies.
When you were scheduling presentations, did you schedule them for multiple departments in a single meeting, or did you allow?
I don't think we had, did we have? I don't think we had. If we did, it was something that was very short for, that it wasn't going to be very specific and, long-lasting kind of systematic. Just come in and just present and, okay, thank you. that's the problem that I foresee, you know, having all these department heads or the people coming over here and presenting themselves. Or that's why going out and seeing them is a better solution, but then this body might feel different.
Like a road trip.
Well,
In a way.
it's easy to divide and conquer.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Well, I think perhaps the different, and I do share that opinion, I think the difference might be that this is not quite, these are not necessarily department heads, and this is a kind of a more general presentation. I was also remembering that we had sort of made a commitment to each other that we were gonna try and have on task, succinct meetings of not more than 2 hours or 2.5 hours at the absolute most. And so to be able to have, how many people could you schedule, or what kind of presentation could you schedule, and is that sufficient agenda along with at the next point of discussion for the assignments?
Remember now, the meeting is gonna, itself is gonna take up some time, then after the meeting, then you're gonna have to reconvene and discuss what was obtained from that individual at the meeting. So then it's gonna take some more time out of our own agenda here.
Yes.
That's the reason why, you know, going out and having a report come back is a little bit more concise.
Yeah, and I agree, we were talking about, did you want to have the green team come and present this next time, and then perhaps
I would love that.
the other, so is that a sufficient agenda, I think is all I was saying, is we don't have to think about other presenters by the time we allow opportunity for perhaps public comment, approve minutes, hear those presentations, perhaps have some discussion after that. This may have some action.
Yeah.
We've probably
That would probably suffice.
taken the
Hours,
agenda,
yeah.
and we will have moved some things forward,
Yes.
yes, okay.
Let's start doing something.
Okay, so for your next agenda, we'll carry 4 forward, which is the formation of the subcommittees, and we'll have this listing out there with the commissions.
Yes.
Would you like me to, I'll just keep 6 on in case anything, and then we'll add at the beginning a presentation by the green team and or possibly Will Lawson, who's the energy coordinator. And they might be one.
Yeah.
One presentation.
Mhm.
Does that sound good? Next agenda? Okay.
Do we keep 8 on?
Yeah, we'll just have your, the standard 7
to
and
10.
8, the items to be placed on the next agenda, and then discussion about your location.
Okay,
Okay, so is that all right?
yes.
Did we get the next place for the tractor March 20? Okay.
I think it was called Conference Room, I think. I think we did a whole bunch. I gotta check, council. I gotta check Tuesdays for April 7th.
So do we have
So,
a
yeah.
place to have the conference?
We know for sure March 20th we have video conferencing. We shall check after that for
Okay.
the April meetings on whether or not, but we'll do our very best.
Well, I want to let y'all know, I mean, I'll certainly make the effort to be here. I know how important it is if we're all here together. And I think also with our time, you know, having an audio difficulty in Kona would affect all of us. So just so that you know, I mean, I'd certainly make every effort to make these trips over here. If we could maybe meet at least one time in Waimea or something like that, that'd be fine. I could talk into that one. I like your 1 o'clock adjustment though. I think the 1 p.m. works pretty well. We'll find out how the traffic is coming back, so it should be okay, thank you.
No, I agree, thank you for making that suggestion, Glenn. Actually, it works out. I actually have a day, I'm gonna have a block of time in the morning and I have a block later in the afternoon, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So you will let us then
For
know
the-
about a venue for April
April 3rd.
3rd. Okay. So just procedure-wise now, minutes, we are now in a formal minute stage, is that
It'll be on
accurate?
the next agenda. for
It'll be
approval of-
on the next
approval of
agenda.
minutes.
And it comes out, the minutes come out to us,
Prior to, probably when I send out the agenda.
Along with the
items, yeah,
agenda?
So you can review
Okay. Thank you, that's helpful. Anything else? Oh, we can't do that though, can we? We don't have the ability to add spontaneously to our agenda, so we hit.
No, but you can add to your next agenda.
You know, just a change in process. I mean, used to people being able to add things spontaneously, that's just something we're gonna have to learn to do. All right, then I think we are at this point adjourned.
So you make the announcement,
The announcement becomes part of the minutes, so our next meeting then will be held on March 20th at 1 o'clock, Hawaii County Council Room, 25 Opuni, and we will have video teleconferencing capability for that in Kona.
at the council,
Okay,
it's not the council conference room, it's not the council room, it's the,
2 baseball throws from the high school.
yeah,
good.
all right. And do we take formal motions to adjourn?
You may, people like to do that.
Yeah, have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So,
Second?
Moved by Ashley.
Second.
Okay.
Who made the motion?
Ashley's hand is first. Okay, all in favor? Thank you very much, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
So we all have lots of reading and thoughts in the next 2 weeks.